When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Happy Boxing Day. Oh, wait, it's not that kind of boxing? Oh, sorry. Oh, it has something to do with boxes. Okay. I don't know. It's a holiday. Not in the U.S., but hello, Canada, UK. It's the day after Christmas. It's Boxing Day. It's when you box, I guess you box everything up and return it to the store because you didn't like it. Actually, okay, it's from what I understand, it's kind of similar. It was like, okay, here's the stuff we didn't use for Christmas. Let's give it to the poor. So they put it in, they gave it to the poor like in a Christmas box. A box of like stuff with stuff in it. I think. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. I don't know. Hope you had a great Christmas. It's the Friday edition of the Talking Real Money Q&A podcast. As let's see. Yeah, this is wrapping up a year of Friday Q&As. We're going to start 2026 here soon. Thanks for being there. This is a short edition because I figured you probably on Boxing Day or the day after Christmas, you didn't want to spend a lot of time with a podcast. So I just did 4 questions for today, if that's okay. All of these questions were sent in at the talkingrealmoney.com website using the contact form, and you recorded them using your lovely voice into your lovely computer mic or your phone mic or whatever it is you have with your electronic equipment that records your voice. So thanks for doing that. And without further ado, so you can get on to your boxing match, here's the first question.
You guys talk a lot about VOO, the S&P 500. And if that's all you have, you better be ready for, a 50% decline at any moment. So I understand that. But could you, if you own the world like VT or AVGE or DFAW, if we own that, what could we expect a decline to be? I never hear you give that estimate out. So just wondering, again, if you own the world in the past, what has a big decline been? Thank you for all you do.
Well, that number we bandy about is just based on the worst case for the modern history of the stock markets, which goes back to about 1926. And that's the U.S. market. It could be worse. We don't know. We're just throwing a number out there based on what has been the worst case scenario. We have a lot less data when it comes to global markets. We can really only go back effectively until the 70s. And looking back at the 70s, the worst market, again, just like it was for the U.S., was 2008. That's been the worst ever in the history of stock market, massive, big market, lots of data record keeping. So that period was also the worst for international stocks. However, the international stocks did not fall as far, as dramatically as did the U.S. stocks. So it kind of gave a nice cushion, which is what we want. We don't know that we're always going to get it, but that's what our goal is to try to diversify to get a cushion. So the loss in 2008 for a globally diversified portfolio was right about 40%. So that's actually, in terms of the percentage of the loss, that's a 20% reduction in the pain. So it's significant. And if you had added bonds to that portfolio, you would have limited your pain down into the 20s. So it would have been a decline no matter what, but it wouldn't have hurt as much, 60-40, 50-50. So we've got the data, just not as robust a data as we'd like. Even then, it's no guarantee about what the future is going to look like. I mean, we could have a 90% decline in the future. I can't imagine why. I mean, it would take a real global catastrophe to do that. But so we're just what we're trying to do is set reasonable expectations in a relative way. A 50% loss for 100% stock portfolio, less than that for 100% global stock portfolio, less than that for a balanced portfolio, even less than that for just bonds. Worst case for an intermediate term bond portfolio we've seen has been, in the teens, the mid-teens. So I hope that helps. Again, just expectations, not any rule to live or die by. Thanks for your call, and let's grab the next question.
Hey, Don, this is Jay from San Antonio, and I had a question about my wife and my portfolios. Currently, we have 3 funds, 30% in VXUS, 30% in AVUV, and the remaining 40% in SWTSX. We use the mutual fund version to get every single penny invested instead of using the ETF due to partial shares. My question is, should I add a 4th fund, being AVDV, to have small cap value international to complement my AVUV small cap value US? If at that point it's too complicated, should I just do AVGE? And if I go that route, is that enough small cap value? Or do I just leave it as is? All of this is Roth, so changing funds, there'd be no tax issue. Thanks for all you guys do. I appreciate it.
Well, if it's not too complicated for you, it's not too complicated for me. It's just 4 funds. And if you're doing an annual rebalance, it's not that big a deal. I'd be very, very tempted to split the AVUV if you're going to add AVDV, though, because you're a little heavy and small. Nothing wrong with that, but you're a little heavy in small value, a little bit. So you could probably slice off, make that AVUV 20 and the AVDV 10 or 15, something like that. Although the difference you are likely to experience, again, based on the past, between AVGE and the 4 funds you currently have, which is the Vanguard International, the Avantis Small Value, the Schwab Total Market, and then adding in AVDV for the International Small Value, it's not going to be precipitous. It's not going to be much. It's going to be a few basis points, maybe. So we're talking about so little a difference that you have to determine, is the effort worth it? It's not, is it too complicated, but is it worth it for maybe a couple of basis points, a couple of hundredths of 1%? I would vote for simple. I'm a big fan of simple. I really am. Maybe it's my simple mind, but either way, I think you're going to be in a very similar place. Thanks so much for your question at talkingrealmoney.com using the contact form, which anybody can do. It's really easy. Just go to talkingrealmoney.com and look for the contact form. Gee, that's repetitive. I think it's time for another one. Here we go.
Hello, Don. This is Mark from Puyallup. Just wanted to call and ask. I've heard a couple of times on the podcast and radio show on Saturday, you bring up RetireMeet 2026 and mention March. I don't think I've heard a date yet, and I'm just wondering when that might be put out, or if it has been put out, what the date is. We attended in 24 and enjoyed it. 25, we had tickets, and a last-minute emergency came up, and we didn't attend, but would like to attend it again in 2026 if we can make it happen. Also, on another note, Tom's jokes are horrible But I do feel for him, because I think that's one thing that Tom and I have in common, is that even if we're fed a joke, it could be funny, but the minute we say it, it never comes out that way. So I feel for him, but Tom, if you're listening, keep trying. Maybe one of these days you'll get me to laugh. Okay, thank you very much, Don. Appreciate it. Bye.
He will be listening. I just appreciate your question call thing for two reasons. One is the opportunity to plug RetireMeet, which I'll do in a minute, and the other is for you to, the first step in solving a problem is recognizing you have the problem. And so you've nailed the diagnosis. He's bad dad joke challenged, and we sympathize. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. RetireMeet 2026. It's March 7th in Bellevue at Meydenbauer. And you can go online now and reserve seats. We're not actually selling tickets yet, but you can reserve your place at it and get on the wait list. Get on the wait list. Get ahead of the curve. So go to RetireMeet, MEET.com. Thanks so much for that wonderful, wonderful question, answer, comment thing that you did. We're going to do one more for Boxing Day. Here it is.
Hi, Don and Tom. Mike from Minnesota. I'm actually submitting a question today on behalf of my sister. My sister is 60 years old, still working full-time. Her husband is 62 years old and left the workforce about a year ago because of health issues. Fortunately, he's able to collect a pension, and he also just recently started collecting Social Security. My sister decided, because of her husband's health concern, to have a consultation with the elder care law attorney regarding asset preservation. Should her husband down the road ever need to go into a long-term care facility to manage his health issues. And the elder care law attorney had discussed with her the idea of a Medicaid-compliant annuity, MCA. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I did a little bit of AI research, and so far I'm not loving what information I'm seeing online. Let's just say, for conversation's sake, she has about her and her husband have about $400,000 in investments. Home is paid for, small Social Security benefit, and a pension of a couple $1,000s a month on top of that from her husband. From what I'm learning about the MCA, your assets are protected up to about $157,000. And then after that, if you were to buy into that Medicaid compliant annuity, it sounds like it's a immediate annuity from what I can understand here. And then any of your assets up over $157,000 would then be part of that annuity. And once you opt into that, then that's it. There's no opting out. So you can never access that money for emergencies. Also, on top of that, from what I can tell here, it looks like there's a contract that's structured for a specific period of time. Like example, it could be 10 years, but there is a cap on that. So it's based on your life expectancy of the healthy spouse, which would be my sister. So I don't know if I'm loving that. It says like it gave me a hypothetical estimate about what she would potentially receive per month for that money in the annuity over and above that protected amount of $157,000. It sounds like it would be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 per month, but it doesn't sound like it goes on forever. It sounds like there's a contract and it only pays out for a certain period of time. I don't know if it's 10 years or 15 years, but again, it's probably based on life expectancy. I'd love to hear your feedback. I don't think I've ever heard you or Tom talk about this on the podcast. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. And then, of course, I'll pass that your feedback on to my sister as well. Thanks for everything you do. Love your podcast and looking forward to your response.
Wow. Very serious question to end up, which is good. That's a good place to end up. Medicare-compliant annuities. We don't talk about them much because, well, they're a very specialized tool. And I am not impressed with this elder care attorney at this juncture if he or she is recommending it at this point when your brother-in-law is not in need or in imminent need of long-term care because this is usually used as a last-minute tool because of the great restrictions on it. It's usually used when someone is really there. It's time, and the care is going to be long. Asset draining, because you do have to drain it down to 150 something. I thought it was 154, but maybe it's 157. You got to drain your assets down, but you can keep a house up to a certain amount, and you keep an income up to a certain amount for the surviving spouse. But these can come in handy as an additional income stream. They're not protecting assets. They're just giving the person who's not in the nursing home or the long-term care facility a little extra income from the assets over that $150,000+ range. So in this case, it would be $340 and change, providing a relatively small income. I mean, it's going to double Social Security. It's going to add another 50% to Social Security probably. But this is being pushed really early, which makes me a little bit concerned about this lawyer. There are a lot of elder care lawyers, and I know some of them, and I don't particularly like them that much, who get kickbacks for selling products for insurance salespeople. And there's nothing illegal about it. They should disclose it, but I don't even know that they have to do that. I guess there might be a fiduciary standard they're not upholding, but you'd have to go to court and fight a lawyer to fight that. My guess is that there is a kickback coming to this attorney from the sale of Medicare qualified annuities, or MCAs, Medicare compliant annuities. I don't think it's time. I think it's way early. It may never even need to happen. We don't know. We can't know. So I'm with you. I'm kind of skeptical. And then if he does, or if they do, or if she needs one for that income, and you're right, it can only be for her life expectancy according to the Social Security tables. And if she lives past that she doesn't get any more money. It's gone. It's gone. So it's going to be gone one way or another anyway. But I would only look at it if it was imminent, and I would shop around for one, because there are a very few, not many, non-commissioned MCAs out there. They're hard to find, but they do exist, and those should provide a higher payout because you're not losing a bunch of money in commissions to the insurance agent, and the commissions are pretty hefty. So you are right to be skeptical. I don't think really when it comes to money, you can be too skeptical. Be skeptical of everybody, including us. Check us out. It's a dangerous world out there. There are a lot of people who will lie to you to get a commission. A lot. The majority, I believe. Anyway, thank you for that. Thank you all for being a part of the program. Thank you for another great year of Q&A, and I'm looking forward to more in 2026 and beyond. So keep those questions coming at talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form. You just type them in, Tom gets them, or speak them in. I get them on Fridays, and I do love answering your questions. Have a great new year. I'll talk to you in the new year. I'm Don McDonald, taking your questions, giving you answers on Talking Real Money.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appellate Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appellate Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Appellate Wealth's AVDV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appellate's fees and services.
Appellate Capital, LLC, DBA Appellate Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appellate does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. Oh, I think I need a nap.
Been out here all morning. Not a single bite. Guess the fish finally figured it out. Just like hackers do when Cisco Duo's on guard. With Duo's end-to-end phishing resistance, every login, every device, every user stays protected. No hooks, no catches, no bites. Cisco Duo. Phishing season is over. Learn more at duo.com.